Welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter, right along with Robert Simpson. And I tell you what, one thing that we don't get to do too much is talk to drivers that participate in Sick Week. Well, we're going to do that tonight. We have Richard Guido joining us. And I tell you, this gentleman is a machine. Not only does he compete in Sick Week, but he drives his Pontiac GTO all the way from Canada down to Florida every year and drives it back. When most people trailer their cars in, this gentleman drives his everywhere. So it's really amazing, and we're glad to have him on tonight. But before we get into that, we got a few messages that we want to share with you. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Well, Rich, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. And I tell you, just the stories that I hear about some of the things that you have to face on your way coming to Florida and going back up, it's just amazing what you do with that beautiful Pontiac GTO. I mean, it is a beautiful car.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the invite. And life's about adventure, and that car has dragged me through quite a few adventures for sure.
That's an understatement and then some. Now, in case people aren't too familiar with Rich, okay, he's got a black 65 Pontiac GTO, okay, all steel, and it's absolutely beautiful, pristine with a red interior. And it's a very unique combination because the fact that it is a true Pontiac. It's a true Pontiac, but what's unique about it is it's a manual shift and it's got a turbocharger on it amongst everything else. But Rich, how in the world did you get started in all of this? What got you started, period, into cars?
Oh, I would say definitely growing up on the farm. Like, we had go-karts and motorbikes, and so we were mobile from a really young age. And, if we broke it, we usually had to fix it. And that was the same on the farm. Like, if the tractor broke, you split it in half, and we worked on it. It wasn't a lot of money to you didn't call out the John Deere guy to come and fix your tractor. It was like, let's find out what's wrong with it, figure out what parts we need from John Deere and go get them. So, a lot of that mechanical aptitude and I guess you would say willing to get things fixed up really came from the farm life, like growing up on a farm. And then it wasn't really till we left that Dad built an AC Cobra. My first car that I actually restored in my little garage was a Volkswagen Baja Beetle. Tried to burn the garage down that was attached to the house, but that's kind of where things started. I really liked restoring stuff and fixing it up, but I also really enjoyed, once it was done, driving the shit out of it. Like, while some people think they're artwork, I think they're artwork that people need to enjoy. And the best way for people to enjoy your artwork is to get out there and drive them all over the place. So that was kind of how it really got started. And the Pontiac itself, I went from the Volkswagen to a 69 Firebird convertible. It was silver, black top, automatic. And very quickly it went too fast with no bars in it. And I knew I wanted to do something like Drag Week. I knew I always wanted a street car first and a race car second.
Right.
So when my brother found these two GTOs, it was a 67 GTO and a 65 GTO. The 65 was black with a red interior, and it was in a junkyard, and they pulled it out of the junkyard, put it in an orchard, and they were just going to steal the seats out of it is all they were going to do. And then they realized it was, the color combo was pretty cool, and it was a 4-speed car. And so when I found it, it was like fresh out of the junkyard. It was a mess. So, I tell people all the time, like, they're like, how can you do that to the car? And I'm like, listen, this thing was dead when I found it. Like, I revived it, like paddles on it, brought it back to life, rotisserie. Like it was dead. And it is going to die a happy life through my hands once again. But
right.
Yeah.
That's a good explanation. But I like what you said. Enjoy your car. Okay, it's yours. You work on it. Enjoy it. Okay, and that's something that my dad and I are a believer in. Is you put the hard work in it and stuff. Go enjoy it. Okay, and I tell people, I don't care what you do. Go out and do donuts at it. It's your car, but enjoy it. But we're glad to see that. But we know that there's no way that your car has ended up with the current combination and situation, and it's had to be a transition over time. So when you first were putting it together, what was your intentions when you were first putting it together? It was like, did you have an ET? Was your goal to go quicker than your convertible? Was your goal to reach a certain thing and then kind of progress from there?
Yeah, well, and I'd have buddies that would laugh at me because they said you won't stop there. But the original goal with the car, it was a tri-power. It was a tri-power with a TKO 600 in it, a diaphragm clutch. And the goal was to try to get 20 miles per gallon and run 1150s. That was the original goal with the car, yeah. And I pretty much wore the screws out on that tri-power, getting it dialed in. And it worked really well. It went 1122 at, I can't remember the mile an hour, but it never really got the 20 miles per gallon, 20 US miles per gallon that I was hoping it would get.
Right.
And then really the next transition at that point, and that was a 498 Pontiac. So it was a 400 Pontiac with a 4.5-inch stroke crank, and it was 90 over.
I was getting ready to say, what displacement was it? Because you answered
that.
Yeah, that's a big engine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then in fact, the heads were big enough that the aluminum tri-power intake wouldn't fit on it, so we had to weld up the ports, and so started modifying fairly quick. And then I told my engine builder that I wanted to do Drag Week. And he's like, well, I want to build a motor and I want you to debut it. So he built this 517 cubic inch Pontiac. It had an aftermarket IE2 block, really good flowing wide port heads, and 4,500, I think it was a Northwind intake on it with a big Dominator carburetor, and so and I still had the TKO 600 in it.
Oh boy!
And so that was 2013, and that was our first drag week. My brother, when I told my brother what I was doing, he's like, "Well, I'm coming with you." And Dad hopped in with my brother, and my engine builder hopped in with me, and we drove all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky, in this car that. Well, a quick story. So the first time we put the engine on the dyno, we had a timing belt on it because we wanted to just play with cam timing.
Right.
And the belt fell off at like 1,200 RPM, bent like 7 valves. And we were probably 2 weeks out from the event. Thankfully, it didn't really hurt the heads. It just bent the valves. We weren't at higher RPM, so we had to change a bunch of the valves. And so then we put it in the car, dynoed it one more time on the chassis dyno, and then literally hopped in and no trailer, some spare parts in the trunk, like a TKO 600. We had another transmission in it though. And
good move.
yeah. And then drove all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky. And the whole event for us, for a first event, was a complete shit show. Like, my brother lost the cam in his Mustang before we got out of Canada. We changed it on the side of the road. I was really suspicious why he was carrying a spare cam with him. And then he tells me afterwards that, he had the pan off for some reason. And he thought that the oil pump, gear on the camshaft looked a little bit worn. So that's what ended up happening. It wore it right off. So we changed the cam on the side of the road before we ever left Canada. And then drove all the way down. And then, there's all kinds of stories. But on day 3, my brother hit both walls. And so we fixed it up. Mike, that was the first time we had met Mike Finnegan. He stayed with us. We went to the junkyard to get new rims. And it was just, it should have convinced us to never do a drag and drive again, but it did the opposite. We were totally hooked. Like the thrashing, we cruised with Bailey one night. It was him and Steve Morris, and it was Steve would tell you this, Tom would tell you this too. It was the hottest year that I've ever done a drag and drive. Dad got heat stroke. My brother was puking the day that we fixed his car up. And Tom and Steve are riding in this Pro Mod, and we would stop for gas with them, and they would just go and stand in the beer cooler section just to try to get their body heat back down. But
I can only imagine.
I'll take 2 bags of ice, one for my back, one to lay across my lap while I'm driving.
We've seen people go up to ice machines or big ice bag machines, you know what I mean, and just open the door and lay in them, just sit in them, and I'm like going, oh man, that's hot. But please continue. You were saying.
Yeah, I mean, we were hot in our cars, and I got corner vent windows. My transmission I can't see my transmission like Bailey, and
right.
Those guys were smoking hot. So, but it was, it was just a phenomenal event. Everybody, like Alex Taylor was there the first year. She was 16 years old. At first, Hot Rod wasn't going to let her in because she's 16, and they're like, "Oh, you got to be 18." But she had a driver's license, so a whole bunch of us stood up and said, "You're going to not let her run. We're not going to run either." And we just met lots of great people, and just had a blast. And so that was my first event. I got second in big block street race, naturally aspirated, and arguably I was probably the only one that drove to the event, placed and drove all the way home. But it totally got me hooked. Like, I think I'm on my 26th or 27th drag and drive event.
Well, and it's also about the people that you meet and how many people's willing to, hey, what do you need? What kind of part do you need? Do you need to run up to the store for you? Do I need to take you to the store? Let me search my trailer and see if I've got that. Just the friendships that you build is pretty neat on those drag and drives.
Totally. Like, I think I want to say it was either 2017 or 2016. there's about 5 of us Canadians all traveling together. And well, Bill Armstrong might have been with us too, but we pull up and we see 3 cars on the side of the road, and usually there's people there and they're giving you the thumbs up, telling you we're good, you can keep going. But we didn't see anybody, so I'm leading the pack. I pull in, and other 4 cars all pull in, and we walk back to the cars, and we don't know where anybody is. So this is really weird, and we're looking, and finally we see there's this swath all the way down this hill into the trees, and they had lost their trailer that they were pulling behind the car, and it went down into the ditch, and it literally broke the trailer hitch off this Camaro. So talking about helping people, so we went down and it literally formed this human chain to get all the stuff back up, and then we got the trailer back up, but they couldn't tow the trailer because they no longer had a hitch. But I had a hitch, but I had a rack on the back, so we took the rack, we put it on my buddy's Land Cruiser, and then put the hitch on my car, and then I towed him towed the trailer to the next checkpoint, right. And then that got them the ability to weld the hitch back up and keep going. So, but yeah, there's just tons of those stories where, you know, people are stopping to help everybody, and lots of time it's the competitor that's ahead of you in the class, and if he doesn't get fixed, you're going to beat him, but it doesn't matter. In the drag and drive world, it's like if you got a part and you can help a buddy, you help a buddy. So
right.
Yep, it's all about the challenge and helping your fellow competitor out.
Yeah, just finishing.
Finishing. And it's so much different than just being at the racetrack with your toter home and your trailer. Like when you're on the road and you're at a gas station and 4 cars drive in and only 3 of them want to start afterwards, it's like, well, you ain't leaving until you get your buddy up and running, and that happens more than you know. But
I was getting ready to say, yeah, I can only imagine, because I've seen a lot of videos, Bailey and several others, like with the pro mods, like when Lutz used to do it a lot, pull into a gas station, left the engine running, and they're filling it up. And in my mind, I'm like going, why don't you shut it off? And I've heard somebody say, yeah, they might not be able to get it started, you know, and they got to get to the next checkpoint. And I'm like going, oh, that is wicked. And just like you said, it's just because they wouldn't spend no time and, you know, cool off for a minute, stretch and walk for a minute and hop back in it and go off to the next gas station, because they weren't getting that much. You know, they were pulling over a lot.
So how many drag and drives have you done?
I think I'm on 26.
26.
26 after sick week this year.
Now, this year's sick week was a little challenging because I believe you probably brought the weather with you.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. It was here already, or it was there already.
Well, you say that, but I think when you left, it was snowing when you left, right? When you left your home coming down here.
It's supposed to be snowing up here. We have these things called snowplows and stuff that when we went through Mississippi, we saw one snowplow, and I think the blade was about 6 feet long, and I think there was like 5 pilot cars ahead of it and about half a dozen behind it, and the guy's doing like 20 miles an hour. It was like, oh man, this ain't gonna work.
You're like, you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, it's like going. But in all fairness, we don't know how to handle it. Not to the extent that you do, but how long did it take? Well, first of all, you're in. Is it Central Canada?
No, I'm like north of Montana, 7 hours north of the Montana border. So for me to go from my house down to like South Georgia Motorsport Park is like 3,000 miles.
And how long approximately does it take you? Yeah, with no problems, of course.
So my strategy going down, because I'm leaving in the winter, is always to give myself a couple extra days, because I really don't know, one, if anything's going to break, because you can't do a bunch of test driving before you leave because there's snow all over the ground.
True.
And 2, and if there's any weather and you need to stay somewhere for a day, you have that window. But if I'm booking it like I'm going to do when I go to Nate's event, Streetcar Bragging Rights, like it's 2,500 miles, and I can do it in a couple of days. So I'll do 1,000 miles in a day. Dad gets really good sleeps on those days. So
I was getting ready to say, but the good thing is you got a 6-speed in your car, right?
yeah,
Okay.
huge. It's I think it's one of my keys to success is like I can do 80 miles an hour with the 0.63 overdrive and a 29-inch tall tire. It's like 1900 RPM. So it's just kind of idling down the road. It's
Nice
not
speed.
3000 RPM and torturing everything in the car. But
Man, oh man.
yeah, so
You
85, 90 is not that bad. Like you're just kind of idling down the road. Yeah.
you just got to, yeah. Now that makes sense. But I mean, your car. I've watched you when. Well, first of all, before I get ahead of myself, okay, you were originally telling us that when you first purchased 65 together, that you had a 398 or excuse me 498 in it. You had a tri-power
Yeah.
setup on it. Then you took that out, and your engine builder built the 517 or 521 that you got
Yeah.
now, and but it was naturally aspirated. Okay, and then you put that in it. Now, at what time did you decide to, and what made you change to go from naturally aspirated to a turbocharger? I mean, what was the reasoning behind it? Just something different?
Yeah, when I was at the very first drag week, I mean, I really enjoyed it. Um, that big Dominator on top of that motor. You're still winding the thing up pretty good, and I knew I wanted to go quicker. And when I got back from the event, my engine builder asked me if I wanted to buy the motor, and he told me the price, and I was like, man, I wish I could, but I just couldn't afford it. So
Right.
I actually went back to like a 455 Pontiac and put a supercharger on it, a Pro Charger
Uh-huh.
F1C.
Okay.
That worked good until I turned it up at the end of one year, and then I blew it up, and then I went to an aluminum Pontiac engine, and I wasn't listening to my buddy who was like, if you're going to put that much boost through it, you need to get off the pump gas and or start adding some race gas. And so I actually cracked that block behind every sleeve between each of the cylinders.
Wow.
And so that one's never been repaired. And then when I broke that, I was actually trying to get ready for another drag week, and my engine builder hadn't sold the other one, so we made a deal. I painted his 72 GTO. I got the motor and then put the Pro Charger on that one and ran it for just a year before I went to this current combination. Um, Reed from Works Turbocharger spec'd out this 94 millimeter turbo. It's a 94 120
Mm.
Borg Warner. And I told Reed what I wanted. I'm like, just so you know, I'm going to drive this thing a lot. Like, I'm not lying to you. Like, this thing is going to get a ton of miles. And that was, I think we figured it out the other day. That was like 8 years ago that he spec'd out that turbo, and the same turbo is on my car now. And it's made 1,527 horsepower at 20 pounds of boost to the tires. Um,
And it doesn't
and
smoke. And it doesn't smoke either. It's not. I don't see it leaking or anything like that.
It doesn't. It's still tight. I'm pretty diligent about changing oil and listening to what Reed said as far as what oil to use and the lines to run. But I bet you that turbo in 7 years has probably got 145,000 miles on it,
Wow.
and many, many, many quarter mile and 8 mile passes, but
Well,
a, a ton of street passes or street
you
miles.
Right.
you bring a good point. I was going to ask you at some point in time about the maintenance that you have to do. So when you drive it down, do you have to do maintenance on it before you do the 6 week, uh, the good travel to the tracks, and then redo it again before you get back on the road and headed back to Canada?
So usually what I'll do is I'll do the drive there, um, and like the about 3 tanks of gas before I get there, I'll start adding in some fuel conditioner that helps get rid of some of the carbon from the lower RPM cruising, like a seafoam, put in a seafoam in with the gas. And then when I get there, I'll change the oil like right before the event. And then I'll do the event and then I'll drive home on the same oil and then I'll change it when I get home. But I've been using Driven's 2050 and it's been working really good for me. And it seems, I think one of the keys is fully knowing your car well enough to know if you're having any problems. So I know where my oil pressure is at hot idle. I know what it normally is cruising down the road. So it really allows me to know if I'm having any issues. Like when people are like, oh, I think I got a problem, that's usually what I'll ask them. It's like, oh, did you see the oil pressure drop? And if I hear no, and I'm like, well, maybe something else is going on then. If it's, it might not be a bearing problem or whatever. But and then it's a solid roller motor. It's got offset lifters. So I can't put hydraulic rollers in it. So I'm pretty diligent about checking my lash, but it's got a Crowler shaft rocker system on it. It's got Crowler lifters. It's got good push rods, and I've played enough with it now to know that I run the lash really tight, because when you drive it for 1,000 miles in a day, the lash is going to get opened up. So if you run like the spec for the cam of 16 thou, it's probably going to be more like 25, 28. And when you have all of that gap beaten on everything for such a long time, and so now, like I usually never have to adjust it. Like if I have to adjust it, something's going away. And thankfully, usually it's the top end. Usually it's the adjuster or the end of the push rod. But I run lash caps on the top of the valves and stuff too. So
something you can get to easily is what you're saying. Is typically can only imagine. So I mean, but what else do you do? I mean, do you change spark plugs when you get down here? From your street miles, and put fresh plugs in it before you make your first hit, which I'm assuming you do. And then talk to us about your changeover when you go from the street to race, and obviously you reverse it going the other way. But tell us generally about the changeover that you do, because I've seen a lot of videos of you and watched you actually quite a bit.
Well, it's kind of funny. Some of my friends would tell you that the car just pukes when I get to the racetrack and there's a yard sale.
A yard sale. It looks like a yard sale. It does look like a yard sale. I'm looking around going, and me being me, if nobody's there, and I'm like, is anybody keeping tabs on this stuff? Because I feel like, we need to rope it off,
So it feels like you're having a swap meet out there, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, if Adam Dory's anywhere near there, he stole one of those, mopping signs and put cardboard over top of it, and it said, "Parts for sale. Take what you need." I come back to my pits, and people are looking at my stuff, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" That's Adam Dory for you. But so my strategy when I have the trailer is what's in the trailer. I don't want to have to touch. It's like camshafts, lifters, rockers, spare transmission, spare clutch, spare drive shaft. Like that stuff I don't want to have to touch every day. So what's in the trunk typically is stuff that I'm going to need to switch the car over, jack, tools, impacts, that kind of stuff. So if it's just two of us, like my dad and I, or a friend and I or something, there's no back seat in the car when we do that. There was when we went to sick week because we were 3 deep. So there was somebody sat back there the whole time. But normally, so that the front runners, the skinny front runners and the drag radials are in the back seat. So when I get to the track, I tell my dad that if he wants to come, he's got to take his own seat out and put it back in. He's 83 years old, but he knows that's his job. So we take out the passenger seat. I take out the tires. I empty the trunk. I jack up the back. Dad changes the rear tires. I will set up the shocks. My fuel system has progressed to where it is now, where I use a stock 65 GTO tank with a sump in it for the street. and just have a little 3-gallon tank for the track. They both have their own fuel pumps. Both pumps have discharge check valves on them, so there's no valving on the supply side. I just literally unplug one pump, plug in the other one, and then the return for both of them is through the same line, and it's just a 3-way valve. So I switch over my fuel in seconds. There's no draining any fuel. I just have to fill up the race, and the race tank is higher than the pump. So if any's going to migrate, like while you're driving, it's typically the race gas going into the pump gas. But so I switch that over, take the air cleaner off the front, jack up the front of the car, or if I have my ramps with me, I'll drive it onto the ramps, and then I have to adjust the clutch. It's a slipper clutch, an adjustable clutch. And so for the street, I've got like 6 turns of base on the 6 springs.
Right.
And then when I get to the track, I pretty much take them all out and put like a quarter turn in.
Oh, that's
and so
it.
the clutch feels like there's nothing there when it's set up for race mode.
Right.
I drop the exhaust off, which is just a 5-inch V-band clamp. Set the front shocks. Dad changes the front tires, and we're good to rock and roll. And then I change the tune,
Right.
as well.
So
it's like, you take, for instance, Top Fuel Teams getting ready and how everything works together. Y'all got pretty much the same game plan. You know what you got to do when you get there, and it probably goes pretty quickly for y'all.
Yeah, we can. I would say if we have to do it really fast, we can do it in half an hour. I would say if we're, taking our time and there's people coming up and talking, it's usually 45 minutes to an hour, but we can do it in a half an hour if we need to. Like you said, we've got it pretty down pat. I've got a checklist on my phone that I'll go over. Dad, being 83, will ask me about 4 or 5 times to make sure that I got everything right, because I probably have screwed it up in the past. And the other thing I do is it's got airbags in the factory, so it's a triangulated 4-link with a typical GMA body.
Right.
But I have airbags in the coil springs, so typically when I'm hauling all that stuff, I'll have like 28 pounds of air in them, and then I just let all the air out when I'm in race mode, just so weight transfers.
I was going to ask you that, but you answered that. I was exactly was going to ask you on toting everybody and towing a trailer and everything in the trunk, and so yeah. Okay. So, and I tell you, one of the slickest things that I saw you do, and ladies and gentlemen, anybody that's ever worked on a clutch car, I had to adjust the clutch under it or through the bell housing or through the inside. You got a bump button underneath the car. Okay, and
Yep.
I'm assuming it's shielded. You got a piece of metal around it shielded so you can't hit it. Okay, but that was the slickest thing. I looked up under there, and you're adjusting the clutch, and you're beep, 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 bumping it over, going to the bell housing, and you're counting. I didn't count, but how many turns you were taking out of the base and getting it set and then bumping it over and putting the cover back on. And I'm like, that is the simplest and slickest thing.
The caveat to that is I typically will bump it under the hood before I ever go under the car, because running your own ass over is not a good deal. So
I was getting ready to say. And it's not like it's got shifter rods on it, so you can see if it's in neutral or not like that. It's in the top, so you can't. Yeah, you find that out the hard way only once.
Yeah.
And but I tell you, it's your whole system. Okay, is very compact, and it's very regimented. I guess is how it should be. Now, back on your engine combination. Okay, you've bought your engine from the engine builder. He decided this is what he's going to build or whatever it might be. But other things that I have noticed about it, obviously, is it's compact and it's under the stock hood. You don't have a cow induction hood. There's nothing hanging out. And there's also a water-to-air intercooler up under there and a turbocharger and coil packs and all that stuff like that. Is this basically been a transformation? You've gradually added stuff, or it's like going, hey, well, I had this here and the coil packs burn up, so I got to move it, or need to add an air to water cooler and got to figure out, or is this your original game plan? Is like put all this under the hood?
Yeah, I mean, when I had the Pro Charger, I had the air to water. That's how it ended up where it was. But and at that time, it was still a blow through carburetor.
Oh,
And so
okay.
my good buddy Matt Blasco, he got me into fuel injection, and because I did the first drag and drive, and like I was scared of solid rollers and something failing on me, so I was meticulous, especially the first one. Like I'm stopping at gas stations, I'm pulling valve covers off, I'm checking lash, and I'm just making sure everything is good. And so when I went to fuel injection, I knew that I didn't want to make it hard to change the spark plugs, and I didn't want to make it hard to lash the valves. So while it looks really packed in there, I can take the one line off the air to water to the throttle body, and I have full access to the valve covers to pull them off. And I didn't want the coil packs on the valve covers either, because I didn't want to have to continually unplug them and pull the wires and do all that kind of stuff. I wanted it very convenient so I could leave that stuff on and just pull the valve covers really quick. So while I personally don't, and I'm sure there's lots of other people don't think it's very aesthetic under the hood, it's actually very practical under the hood. I can get to stuff, I can pull heads, I could do whatever I need to. But yeah, it looks like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag there, but it works. I truly can access everything that I need to without, like, I can do spark plugs at the top of the track if I wanted to get a reading on them. Everything's quite easy to access, actually.
Yeah, and it shows. It really
Well, it's
shows.
very, very thought out and engineered very well to make it that simple. But tell us a little bit about your tire setup. You know, what size do you run in the front? What you run in the rear?
Yeah, so they're just the front ones. Well, funny story. My buddy Rovik and I can't even remember what track it was when we were on Six Smokies, but they basically told us this track's really short. So Rovik and we might have been the first pair up there, but we hit the brakes like just as we crossed the 8th mile finish line, and there's a bump there. Both of us didn't know it, but we locked up our brakes, and Rovik's looking at me because he thinks like I got a problem, and meanwhile his were smoking before mine. And we get to the top of the track, and we both had Mickey Thompson, like, expensive street runners on them, and I popped one of my tires, and he flat spotted both of his, and I had one good tire. We had one good tire left out of the 4, but that story's all to tell you. So now I'm just running like some street tires that he could get a hold of that day, and I just left them on there. But it's got RC comps are the rims, and then in the back, funny enough, I went from running a 28-10-5 to a 28x9 so that I could tuck it up in the chassis and lower the back of the car more. And I am truly amazed at what a difference that made. Like, there was lots of people struggling at Six Smokies. Some people were saying Gainesville is really bad. I never spun once on at Sick Week, and at Six Smokies I got down some tracks that other people were struggling with, and but I was very happy with the decision. Even those little skinny 28x9s, man, the car is 4,090 pounds, and it was doing 133 60 foots. It was, the clutch wasn't my best friend, but it didn't like me very much. But
I was gonna say, because your car is very clean, but something that when you watch you and watch your car is when you take off, it doesn't, how I'm saying is, shock the suspension. It doesn't hit like super hard. It rolls out. You know what I mean? Breaks the beams and rolls out. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it moves. But so I'm sure that's part of your game plan as far as, save it just a little bit on the initial hit. And it shows. And yeah, and I thought the same thing. The first when I saw your run at Gainesville, I was like going, that clutch has to be screaming hot. I'm like going, oh my gracious. And I'm sure that wasn't the case. It's just how it sounded to me. But
it is slipping. It is slipping just about all the way through the 60 foot, but you can see it lock up before I'm shifting into second gear. But yeah, it's pretty hard on the clutch, but it's a whole lot better than breaking everything behind it.
Oh,
True.
agreed. Now, what manufacturer clutch, and is it like a single 10-inch or a multi 8-inch, multi disc 8-inch, and what is it?
It's a Black Magic.
Oh, you got Carl's in there. Okay.
Yeah. Kale's, yeah. Black Magic Kale. It's a
Kale's,
single. It's a single 11-inch disc. Which, when Kale sent that to me, I'm like, there is no way that single 11-inch disc is going to put up with what I'm going to do to it. But it works great, and I have a lot of counterweight on it, so that it doesn't slip up top. And that's part of the reason that I end up taking all the base out to get it to slip. But yeah, it works really well. I have two. I have his next gen, and I also have a Defiant.
Okay.
So that if I need to send one back, I can send one back. But yeah, both of them are single 11-inch discs. So it's pretty crazy that they work as well. But counterweight's your friend, and you realize it when you're going through the traps at 175 miles an hour, and you go to push the clutch in, and it's like, what the heck?
There ain't nothing here. Ain't nothing here.
It's the other way, actually. It's like 7,000 pounds of pressure.
Oh, yeah,
on the
you're
disc.
right. You're right. At full RPM. At full RPM, yeah.
Yeah, it's 7,000 RPM. Yeah, there's it'll make your leg work.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking the other way. At the start, just idling around and bumming around in the staging lanes.
It's so loose in the staging lanes that you can let off the clutch and it'll go like it'll totally slip with no RPM in it. Yeah, it has got. I sit people in the car all the time. I'm like, you got to push on the clutch, and they push in the clutch, and they look at me and they're like, "Is it broke?" And I'm like, "Nope, that just there's just no base pressure at idle."
I want to think one time, like 2 years ago, I was up at Sick Week, or down at Sick Week, and I just walked up, was talking to you, you know what I mean, just and all that stuff like that. And we got talking about clutches, and I think you said it. You had the door open. You said hit the clutch with your hand, and you're right. And I was like going, because it felt really soft and it had just a little bit of resistance. And I'm like going, is everything all right? And you're like, yeah, that's how it is. And I'm like going, I'd have to get used to that. So that was interesting. Now how does the clutch drive on the street? I mean, you have to bump it to get it rolling, and just kind of like double clutch it to get it rolling, or does it drive smooth?
I tell people all the time, like, this is the best clutch I've had in the car. So like, if I had to have a diaphragm in there that would hold the power and the weight, like, it would be brutal to drive in town. Right. But when you throw 6 turns of bass into it, still, the clutch pedal still isn't hard. It's very friendly. And I'm old school Z-bar. I don't have a hydraulic clutch in it. It's still 65 GTO Z-bar.
Right.
Now it will squeal. And if you're in stop and go traffic long enough, it starts to get chattery and stuff. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, like, to drive it down from here down to Florida and stuff, it's fantastic, actually. I tell people, don't be afraid. And it saves all your parts. Like, if you want to put a diaphragm in it and try to put 1,000+ horsepower, yeah, you better be bringing everything behind it. You better bring a spare.
Right.
Well, yeah. I got a question. Doing all these drag and drive events, have you ever thought about cruising over to Alaska and doing theirs?
Well, it's funny because I was on the shirt for Alaska for the Sick Mag event a couple of years ago, but I think there's 100 kilometers or 60 miles of pure gravel, and and there's some nasty sections in it. This is what I've heard. So I have thought about it. I've talked to my buddy Dan Nissen, and I think they're going to do it at some point. So maybe if I do, I think I might like switch some of my parts back. So right now, a factory GMA body's got, rubber joints on everything, but I've got Heim joints on everything. So there is no give. Yeah. And, I turn the shocks down for the street. So the shocks are fine. In fact, the Viking shocks have been fantastic for what I put it through and how well they work at the track. But I think I would have to make some changes just to kind of put some softer components in, just so that it didn't like crack the frame, and because I've definitely heard some horror stories. But
we can always reach out to Michelle for you and try to get some feedback from her about her drag and drive event. Get y'all in connection with one another so you know what to really expect.
Yeah, I mean, it would be smart if I would trailer it up there, but I'm not that smart, and I don't have a trailer.
I was going to say, you've always said you don't have a trailer, so it's like, well, it takes care of that. But what's the closest track to you, and do you have an opportunity when the weather's good to go test a little bit?
Yeah, we've got a couple of tracks pretty close actually. There's an 8th mile track. It's called Central Alberta Raceways. It's in Rimbey, and it's about 45 minutes from me. And then there's a full quarter-mile track, which is Rad Torque Raceway, which we have an event coming up. It's called North versus South. It's Sean, the What No Way guy, and Justin Nunley.
Yep.
I was part of the team when we went down to race them at Pink's. We really didn't get a race because Justin's car broke, but they're coming up June 6th up to Edmonton, and we're having border wars. So we're going to have a little battle up there. There's a stick class, and there's a bunch of different classes and stuff. And then, the highlight will kind of be those two racing their two cars to see, to see how bad we can beat Justin again.
Right. Yeah, I like that. You got a little dig there. That's the way it should be. Yeah. Now tell us something. Let's just say somebody wants to get into drag and drive. Okay, not necessarily to the extent that you are. Okay, meaning how quick you are, but they want to start getting into the events and things like that. What is some recommendations that you would tell people as far as what you need to build into your car, or what you need to pay attention to that you might not think of?
And things that you might want to take with you to prepare for breakage.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that, I'm going to say like 65 to 70% of the cars have LSs in them, because you can just get spare parts for them, right?
Right.
So I think so for the first one, I really like what most events do, where you can just drive along the first year and just talk to people, do the event, do the drives, because typically it's the drives that take people out. It's the miles on your car that, people tow them to the track, race them, and tow them home. But I'll tell you what, like these long sustained drives on the road, starting, stopping, braking, all that kind of stuff. So I would say my first recommendation, if you've never done a drag and drive before, do Sick Ward at Sick Week. Do one of these events where you can just drive along. And then I would say the next piece is you either need a new car and that you don't plan on working on, or you need a car that you're very familiar with. And even then, for me, it's the rare stuff. It's the stuff that if it breaks, you're in trouble and you're not going to get a replacement. That's how you end up being stuck somewhere. And so, I think what we've learned over the years is fuel pumps are critical. If you have a great big fuel pump in your car that you use for race and you try to turn it down for the street, it's not nearly as effective as putting in some small Walboro that you can cruise on. And they're like $120 and you can bring a spare with you. And more importantly, what it does for you is it doesn't recirc all the fuel up through the fuel rails and back into your tank to the point where the fuel in your tank is smoking hot and you end up with fuel vaporization. So I would say the first thing is you need the fuel system set up accordingly, that you're not running into problems.
Okay. And
then cooling, having a cooling system that works good in all applications. So I'd say that the other piece is get out and drive the car and drive it to work, drive it to the store, drive it everywhere before you go on one of these events, and make sure that it's good during that. But you wouldn't believe the amount of cars that show up to these events that have never driven on the road and are still successful. But it's you better be ready for some
amazed. I'm amazed too. It's like going, yeah, I got it finished at 2 a.m. or something like that. I'm like going, and we drove it on the trailer, and I'm like, really? That's it? Didn't even go around the block? Nothing.
Yeah.
And they're down there seating the brake pads and stuff up the return road, and all this stuff like that. I'm like going, oh boy. And but I mean, that's part of the challenge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't much different. Like we had basically just dynoed the car. I drove it all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and then started making some hits. And I know I broke the transmission on the first event, but we had the spare there and stuff. But it is part of the adventure for sure. Showing up and just seeing if, doesn't matter what happens, you're going to get it going. Right. But fuel systems, cooling systems are two that they can torture you if you don't have them set up right. Like when I hear guys driving like 40 miles an hour and then have to stop for 40 minutes to let everything cool down, or they're having fuel problems, I'm like, oh,
that makes a long day.
I couldn't do it. Oh yeah. And especially if you're competitive at the racetrack and you want to make some passes. When I get on the road, I want to beeline it for the checkpoints and get to the hotel and try to get some sleep so you can, keep your head on straight for the next day. But
right.
I think the other interesting one that a lot of people don't realize, and I work in the petrochemical industry, so I see this all the time too, is lots of people will take a good running vehicle and freshen it right before the event. And, I don't know if it's ever since COVID, but, and lots of very smart people can fall victim to this. Like Devin Vanderhoof, the first drag and drive he did, he freshened his motor before the event. And I don't know if it was a parts issue or a machining issue, but it failed like on day one. And his car was working phenomenal before he freshened it. So the risk of getting a bad part, whether the manufacturer has sourced out some, different bearings or something like that, you can run into trouble. So I would say if your car is working good, you don't need to freshen it right before the event. You could cause yourself more grief than anything.
Yeah, just leave it alone. If it's not broke, fix it kind of mentality.
Yep.
Well, hey, that leads to the next question. Okay, so I believe you said you've put roughly, you're going to put you have put 200,000 miles on your car since you've built it. I think you've said that. But this particular engine, I don't know how many miles you have on it, but what is your typical mental ideas or mental game plan for? It's like, hey, I need to pull it out and freshen it, legitimately fresh, and I got 75,000 miles on it. I got 100 or however many. I mean, what is it that's your typical mental schedule on maintenance on overhauling the engine?
Well, it's funny you asked that. So we just freshened it up before sick week, which I didn't actually like to do just because, like I said, you could end up with a bad part. But we put it on the dyno and we beat it up. But it probably had 75,000 miles on it. And the only reason I really wanted to freshen it is because it seemed like I was getting some extra oil in the catch can. And I actually had one NA piston in that motor and 7 boost pistons for, I don't know, I bet you 4 years. Like I ran a long time like that. So, I'm a firm believer in that, if you're doing your maintenance and you're keeping on top of stuff, and I don't push my stuff to the extreme because I got to drive home. So I'm not like running on razor's edge all the time. So yeah, I just keep an eye on stuff. I have a clear view filter, so I can check it all the time and make sure that there's no bearing material in there. There's none of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if it's working good, like I'll keep running it for a long time. Like I'll be really interested to see if I could put another 100,000 miles on that without freshening it.
Wow.
We'll see. I plan on pushing it a little harder too. Like I'm gonna see if I can run a 7-second pass at Streetcar Bragging Rights coming up here.
Right.
So that'll probably be the hardest that I've pushed the car. But
Now this year you did your personal best so far, I believe, and I want to say it was an 826 or 828 or something like that.
828 at 173.9. Call it 174. Yeah.
Right, right. And
Sounds good
actually,
enough.
I watched it. I was sitting right there and I watched it, and when I jaw dropped when I saw that, because I was like going, okay, because I do know he came down here, and that's definitely quicker than you thought it might go at the time.
Yeah. I was actually up. That was actually in Edmonton. That was up here. That was at 3,500 feet. When I went down to sick week, I turned it down, and I think the first pass I went 834 or something, or 837.
Oh, my mistake.
It was 837.
Okay, that's what it was 37, not a 27. Okay, my mistake.
I was trying to run 850s, but
that didn't work
so well.
Yeah, because you couldn't turn the ticket in, right? You had
That's
to
right.
come back. What class were you in? Also, what class were you in down here at sick week?
So yeah, this is my fourth sick week. The first 3 years that I did it, I was in the stick class. I won the stick class the first year and the second year, and the third year I got second. Chad Figley won first, and then this year there was 2 cars, Chad Figley and Darren. Geez, I should remember his name, but and both of them had faster than 850 cages. And while there was 2 of them, I was pretty happy. I thought, well, those 2 guys can do battle, and we'll a whole bunch of us will do battle in the 850. But soon as Chad was out, Darren is a super, excuse me, a good racer, and I knew that he was going to win first and win the helmet. So Chad had broke day 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go into the 850 class and see how I could do there. So there was 20, 25,
A lot of cars.
26 cars. Yeah, in the
cars.
in the 850 class, and there was 2 850 classes, and I went in the more competitive one, but not on purpose. But I thought I fit there because my water tank was in the trunk, and they at drag week, the rule used to be if your water tank was behind the firewall, you had to go into the more competitive class.
Modified or something.
So anyways, yeah. So I went in that class, but I was still happy with my performance. My average was 8.567. My best pass was the best pass of any of the 850 cars. It went 8503 on the last day. So I was pretty happy for not doing a 850 class before to try to dial a car in, and it was fun. I'll tell you, the second year I won sick week, Chad was there, and there was 3 or 4 other cars that were all like quite a bit faster than me, but they all broke by day 3. And then I think Frank Romano was the next guy behind me, and he was like half a second behind me. And so I drove all the way to Florida, made 6 passes, and then drove home. And when I got home, I was like, you know what? That kind of sucked, actually. Like, I drove all that way for 6 passes, and yeah, I got a helmet, but I like it when it's competitive and, you're almost forced to make more passes. So right. I had a really good time running the 850 class and just challenging myself to see how close I could get to that 850 mark. So it was fun that way.
So how fast do you think you can get your car to go if you put it on the ragged edge?
I'm hoping that if I can knock the 60 foot down some more from like a 133 to a 129 and throw a touch more boost at it. I mean, at 174 miles an hour in a 4,050 pound car, it should be running like 780s. So if I can run a 799 with a 9 at Streetcar Bragging Rights, I'll be one happy camper. So I'm going to try to run a 7. We'll see. I don't know if it'll do it or not, but it's got the horsepower. It's just, can I get a good enough 60 foot to get the front end? Because it back half's like crazy, but
Oh,
I really need to get the thing moving on the front.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of chatter about that event coming up at Rockingham. They're showing everyone who's locked in the different classes, and I think it's going to be a really great event this year up there.
Nate Nate does a fantastic job. Like he's messaging all the racers to like self promote. But I did it last year. Like that was I drove down, raced, and he just puts on a fantastic event. He treats everybody great, and it's really a performance. Like the fireworks on the finals, he does a really good job, and he's a great promoter. So yeah, I see Rovix in the comments commenting too. So
Oh, that's him. Okay.
yeah,
I didn't know. We're gonna get to you in a second, buddy.
yeah.
We're gonna get to you in a second.
Yeah, so I like dragging all my buddies. I went there last year, and much like Yellow Belly, Rovik saw me go the one year, and then he's like, "Man, I'm coming with you next year." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he probably would have came last year if he didn't have stuff going on. But yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty like there is 70 stick cars going to that event.
You're kidding.
70.
Wow. The
so he's going to have
event in Rockingham. 70 cars
at streetcar bragging rights. Just the stick car class has 70 stick cars showing up, signed up, registered.
Whoa. Okay, that's going to be impressive. That's going to be very, very impressive.
And all the fast guys are going to be there. Nick Coleman, Sean Madden. Like, yeah, it's going to be impressive.
Oh, no doubt. It's going to be well covered too. And but it's going to be good to see. Now, Rubek, he's going to the event with you. He's driving his car to the event also, correct?
Yeah, his car's already down. I think I can't remember where it is right now because he's a pilot. He lives in the Yukon, so his car ends up in different places. But it might be in Quebec. His family's in Quebec right now, so. But Rovik's the same as me. He doesn't like to trailer it if he doesn't have to. And it's a 540 cubic inch big block olds in the thing that he feeds it a ton of nitrous to. He was running 7s at sick week. And it's not as heavy as mine, but it's like 3,700 pounds or something too. So it's a big old GMA body.
And I was going to say, have y'all known each other before the Dragon Drives? Did y'all know each other way before then, or did y'all happen to meet each other at Dragon Drives, like going, "Hey, we're not exactly in the backyard, but we're neighbors," and to kind of go from there?
Yeah, I didn't know Rovik from anywhere. Rovik's real name is Rajvir Ahovic. He's East Indian. He's about 6'3".
He's a big fella. I've seen he is a big fella.
Yeah, he's a big fella, and he started messaging.
Right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He started messaging me, and we were in contact before the first sick week, and yeah, the first time I met him was down at sick week, but we instantly hit it off. Like he loves to cruise at 85 miles an hour, and he's insane when it comes to the track, and he's really good at picking out taco places, and he loves doing burnouts. So. He is the best guy to cruise with. Like we have so much fun. Like, yeah, he's
I like him already. Oh
yeah,
trailer burnouts and tacos. I'm down with that. we so are. Now, Ruben, we're gonna catch up with you at a Dragon Drive event. We're gonna talk to you there, because yes, I think your car is also. Mitchell and I and everybody agree your car is also very, very cool. And I find it really cool that two buddies from Canada cruise together, drive their cars down. One's got an Oldsmobile, one's got a Pontiac. I mean, what are the odds if you start looking at that happening anywhere else? And they're both extremely cool and very quick. And Ruben, I knew when Rich said 7s that he meant 8s. And I was getting ready to ask that, but you already answered that. But it's still it's massively impressive. And like Rich, like you were telling me also Derek Putnam was telling us like on Death Week, like the last day you put like 20 something passes on your car, just like almost round robining it, and that's vicious, and I like it. Well, I think everybody does. But once again, you're enjoying your car. You know, you're getting out and you're enjoying your car. Now, Rich, I want to ask you another question before it slips my mind about your car in particular. The rear end gear in it, since you got a stick car, okay, and you cruise with it on the, is it a pro gear or is it a street gear?
It's a street gear, actually.
Okay, now so that's another thing that you save with being light on the clutch on the hit, is it saves the rear end.
Yeah, I've never actually had any. I've never broke any gears since I went to a 9-inch. Now I have broke the pinion. Like, I didn't break the gears on the pinion. I broke the pinion right off, but that was, it was actually because the transmission locked in 2 gears at the same time. So I found a trans brake in my automatic transmission. So the pinion didn't like that very much, but I haven't really had any issues with the gears in the rear end. And, because I'm going as quick as I am, and it's a Pontiac, it doesn't like to spin high RPM. So it's got a 325 rear gear in the back and a spool, 35 spline axles. And it seems to be holding up to it. Like I said before, the clutch definitely helps. So I will have a spare strange 9-inch with me at streetcar bragging rights when I push a little harder. So yeah,
I got you. I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going with it. Yeah, because you ate one. Didn't you eat a dry shaft, or is it a yoke that you ate at sick week?
It was actually a U-joint.
U-joint.
So after this trip, when I got home, I had redid my rear end and changed it to Heim joints on the top because it had spherical bushings on the top that were wearing. So the rear end was doing some weird stuff, and it took out 2 U-joints. So, you live and learn. And so now I've modified it and put in some PTFE Heim joints. And I just drove it to work this morning. I sent you guys a picture, and
oh yeah,
that was cool.
Way quieter.
That was cool.
Yeah,
I'm like,
wait, that's not it.
No, but that's still, you could. That's at Orlando.
Yeah.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, on the right there next to Rich's name, it's CCN. Okay, we say that out of respect. He's kind of picked up a nickname as the Canadian Chuck Norris. Okay, now I must ask, who gave it to you? Do you know who gave you that nickname? Was it Kyle at 1320, or was it
I don't think it was. I think it was some of my buddies at Rocky Mountain Race Week that gave it to me, and then one of them got me a sticker, and I put it on the window, and then it kind of stuck. And a little bit of the story behind that is I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which has absolutely nothing to do with Chuck Norris. But I think the crossover that it doesn't matter where I go, I typically survive whatever event I'm in, is kind of, I think, how the Chuck Norris piece comes. But I got a kick out of it. For a while it didn't. It's one of those things that it's like, well, it's sticking now, so I might as well get some shirts made and might as well benefit from it.
Exactly. Just ride with it because it's a compliment. And very, very, very much so. But speaking of T-shirts, I see you got a Yellow Belly shirt on. Okay. Yeah. And that is an event, or actually that's a track that Mitchell and I have always wanted to go to. And we've heard and we've watched so many videos and seen so many stories. Now, you've run that event, I believe, you've run at that event, I believe you said twice before, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Little Gangsters, Jimmy Dale in Poland, Tom Gunner in Poland put it on. And I had met Tom, I think, at PRI, and told him that I wanted to come to his event. And he's like, hit me up, like, come down. And because I had seen that track just like you guys, and I'm like, that thing looks crazy.
I know.
And the huge fences, and it's like, it looks like you're going down a tunnel, and then
everybody's standing on the starting line. And did you see the guy literally has a chair set up in behind the Christmas tree, and
Oh yeah.
he's aiming down the track, and he just sits there and holds his head, and he's got a camera, and I'm like going, and someone goes, "You got the best seat in the house?" He goes, "Sometimes," but I'm like, man, I don't want to turn around, but I'm like going, that is crazy. But anyway, so you're going
Like
down
that.
for a little gangster event?
Yeah, and so there's a bunch of different classes, and um, so same thing. Drove down there. We actually stayed at Tom's house and went to that track and raced. And um, I had lots of people messaging me like, "Don't take your car there. Like, it's not safe." All this. We had an absolute blast. The people there were fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong, though. That starting line is insane. Like, I was bumping into people to kind of go, "Hey, like, could you move out of my way so I could do a burnout here?" And
Right.
thankfully, when my car's
Honk the horn a little bit, flash the lights. You know what I mean? See if the Red
yeah,
Sea parts a little bit.
Need to get you one of those loud foghorns or something like that on there and scare the daylights out of them so they will.
Hey, that happened last weekend. You can ask Mitchell. We're in the stage lanes of the Baby Gators and Super Comp or Top Dragster or something like that.
It was Top Dragster.
Top Dragster rolling around, and we're on the start line taking pictures and turning around. And all of a sudden, somebody unleashed an air horn, and it got my attention. Okay, because I'm like going, it's not necessarily the air horn, but where I work, if you hear loud noises, something's bigger coming your way. And, I turned around and I was like going, all right, there was no golf carts or nothing. And Mitchell's laughing. He goes, it was that dragster right there.
Dude is laughing.
And I went
air
up.
horn on a dragster.
I just acknowledged him. I said, listen, man, I said, you got me. I said, that was good. So I got to find the fella because, I mean, obviously he's got to have an air compressor on the car to take care of everything else.
You should have seen a lady working the front of the staging lanes.
Oh, no, she was going to come unglued.
She jumped about 10 feet off the ground.
But once she came down, her face didn't look right, and I'm like, everybody look away, no eye contact, because she was going to get somebody. But that was genius. I never would have thought of that. But I was going to say, just honk your horn there coming into the stage lane, especially if you're in the far lane.
Yeah, I got a two-step on my car that shoots flames, and there's shots fired, and there's people hitting the ground. It works pretty good. You just put in the two-step, and there's people scrambling everywhere. So
that's true. I didn't think about it. That's a good one.
And honestly, the track, they don't prep it or anything, but it is sticky. Like it is crazy how good the track actually is. Mm-hmm. But the other piece of that track is where the beams are and where the tree is really close together.
Oh, really?
And the other thing is, because there's so many people, you can't see the guy in the other lane. Like, there's people standing between you. So you're like, half the time they're stepping on the beam and you're like, oh shit, he's staging. And then you realize, no, he's not. Somebody just stepped on the beam. And so it is chaotic there. And it's really, like I said, is really close. And
the shutdown gets real narrow real quick, don't it?
Yeah, there's no left lane, right lane. It just narrows, and then there's hay bales. And so you better be making your way off of there. But yeah, it honestly, I don't think they're doing their event again. They're just too busy with small tire gangsters and stuff. But right. I was really happy that I was able to go twice. And like Rovic came with me last year, and we had a bunch of other people, Tony and Tess, and there was a bunch of people. But a crazy story is Rovic's still in the race. He makes the pass. He gets to the top, and he drove his car there, gets to the top, and it looks like he blows his motor. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I'm instantly thinking, this is probably not the best place to leave your car. Like,
right. You start thinking worst. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I talked to him on the phone. He's like, you need to come get me. So I drive up there with my GTO, grab a strap. I tow him back with my GTO, and we get him back to the pits. And he won the race. And I'm like, man, did you blow the motor? He's like, no, I was still running. I just shut it off. And so to shorten the story, it turns out that a torque converter bolt came loose, flew out, hit his oil filter, and sprung a leak. And that's what all the smoke was from.
Wow, that is crazy.
Whoa.
So so he oiled down the track. We got him back to the pits. We put a new oil filter on, put new torque converter bolts on, and he made the next round because, and it took him a while to clean the track up. So,
Yeah,
he was
right.
back up there.
Yeah. Kitty litter it up, and that's about it down there.
Yeah.
I mean,
There was
they're
a whole
not going
bunch
to
of
get
us
out there.
wiping. Yeah, exactly. But
Oh,
it was,
man.
life's all about making memories. And I'll tell you, those 2 trips to Yellow Belly, they were just awesome. Like, it was funny because I had people going by my pits, and this is not that abnormal. And they see the car and they see the trailer, and, some people talk to me and think, oh yeah, well, it's just, a 14-second street car coming to race. And then they watch the car go down the track, and then they come back to the pits and they're like, you drove this thing all the way from Canada? Like, are you insane? Like, what are you going to do if it breaks? That's what they always ask. What are you going to do if it breaks? And I'm like, oh, I got lots of spare parts, and, we'll figure it out, or fly home, I guess, and
Right, or
bring some
trailer,
parts.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Have you ever had a situation where you've had to leave your car somewhere and come back? I mean, what I mean is fly back home, and then
Yeah.
set up something else.
So out of all of those events, I had a Rocky Mountain Race Week event on test day. I saw some stuff in my Clearview filter that I didn't like. It was like this angled shard aluminum. And I will tell you, like, if you run a Clearview and you're on top of it, you get a feel for what it looks like in the filter. Like, you kind of know that, that might freak out some people, but that's pretty normal. But
That's
I
normal.
had
Gotcha.
I had no idea where this, like, half moon shaped piece of aluminum was coming from. So I literally was stripping everything off the top of the motor. Like, I'm thinking, did something grab the timing cover because it's aluminum? And, is there a link broken and it's shaving some off? And the valve covers are top, nothing on the top end. And so in the end, it ended up a piston pin clip. It came out and was scoring the cylinder bore. And the other side of the piston was barely hanging on to the other side of the pin was catching. Right. And that's where the shards were coming from. It was like moving. And so I left the car there. I did not like what I saw. And so I hopped in with Aaron Brandon. Trevor Brandon's got a GTR. You guys have probably seen that too, that he does a bunch of these events with us.
Right.
So I was Aaron's, pilot for the whole event. And when I got back, that's when I pulled the pan off and found the piston clip in the pan. That was the only event that I had been at where somebody was there with a truck and trailer and we're driving right by my house empty on the way home, which was
what are the odds, right?
Trevor Brandon. So yeah, that was and if they weren't there, I probably would have put the clip back in and
say.
and would have probably just drove it home, but I didn't need to. So that's so far, knock on wood, that was the only time that I didn't drive it back home after an event.
Okay.
So I know in 26 days, you're going to be heading to Rockingham. So what particular class are you going to be running there? I know they've got, several classes.
Yeah. Are you going to run more than one? Are you going to run more than one?
Yeah.
So last year I ran 2 classes. I ran stick shift and I ran heavyweight. And because I didn't know, it's a long ways to go. That's why I like dragon drives, but it's a long ways to go to be in one event and get eliminated and then go home. So I thought,
right.
I'm going to go in 2 classes and see if I can qualify, because the stick class seemed pretty competitive and I wasn't sure if I was going to qualify or not. So last year I qualified in both. I qualified in heavyweight and I qualified in stick, and they were back to back in the schedule. So I would literally like make a pass in the stick car, stop by my pits, put a bunch of SFI certified spare tire in the trunk, so I could get the weight up to 4,200 pounds and then go back up and make another pass. And my clutch hated me, but I started progressing far enough in the stick class that I bailed out of the heavyweight. But this year with the way that Nate has restructured the stick class. Well, he does one thing that's really cool is it's all blind qualifying. So
Oh,
you
really?
don't know, you have no idea where you are in the standings until the drivers meeting. And then he starts at number one. And so this year he's got the fastest 8 cars are outlaw. The 9th car for the next 16 are a grouping, and then there's another group of 16 after that. So you don't know.
Kind of like
You
an
don't know.
ABC in a way.
Yep.
And if you run 99 and quicker, you have to have a damper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's not,
Yeah. I have a pan on mine. Yep.
You got all this stuff. Now, the only thing I guess you're missing, and I was going to ask you, you're not going to put a funny car cage in it, are you?
You know, like when I drove it to work today, like I think about how easy it is when you can take the door bar out. Like it's just like getting in any other car right now. And if I put a 750 cage in that thing, you know, I'd be climbing over the bars and don't get me wrong. It's crossed my mind, but I think what I'm going to focus on is like, you know, Nate's event's a good one that I could go to once a year, or if I really wanted to run the car out, I could do. And then the small tire gangster stuff, the 538th mile, that's plenty fun. And even running like 850s and trying to see how good I can get at being consistent. And so I've still got lots of challenges ahead of me before I turn my street car that I drive like, 25,000 miles a year into something that it's just a pain in the ass to get in and out of. So.
Right. No, I agree. And it's like I listened to a podcast that Cooper Bighetti, and that's what he was honest about things. He goes, don't let anybody fool you that says they have a 7-second street car and they drive it to the store and they do this. He goes, no, they don't. He goes, climbing in through that cage and all that stuff. And he goes, don't let them fool you. These things ride rough. They're hot. This and that and that and this. You know, his runs high 7s. And but yours is the only one that I've seen that still has the factory bucket seats in it, you know. So you clearly do that for comfort, and amongst other things. So yeah, definitely gonna. Yeah, I don't see any easy way that you can make a funny car cage even remotely comfortable getting in and out of in a drag and drive car consistently with driving it as much as you do yours.
Yeah, and I think, when you have that cage around your head, it doesn't take much of an accident to whack it off the side of the cage. So then you're looking at a containment seat. And if you have a containment seat, then your visibility can't be that good for driving it as much as I do and stuff. So I keep restraining myself and going like, no, like you got enough events that you can play around at. And, but when you end up at sick week and there's somebody with a faster cage and there's nothing you can do to catch him, but there's lots of classes. And there's lots of talk now that there's so many stick cars showing up to events. Like, let's mix it up a bit. Like maybe it's a DYO stick class. So dial your own stick class. I think there's lots of options. There's lots of, I'm still having a blast. I'm not, I don't have to be the fastest guy out there. Like, my deal for me is it's got to be a street car first that I can drive anywhere and I don't have to trailer. So I'll be sticking with that mentality. So yeah, the chances of it getting a 750 cage I tease people once in a while. I just made a video with some roll bars sticking out of the car going like, just ignore that. That's for another car. But
yeah, what's he
chances
doing?
of it the chance of it getting a 750 or slim to none. And, my dad being 83, like, I don't think he could get in and out of that thing if he's still, don't get me wrong, he's like doing really well for 83, but, and it just, every time you're at a gas station, you got to climb over it. Like,
right.
So I don't think it'll happen.
No,
not with this car anyways. Yeah.
Now, try to step back over to the race coming up in April at Rockingham. What would it be like for you to be able to win that class and walk away with $25,000 in your pocket?
Like, first of all, I don't think I'll make the outlaw. Like last year was so much fun. So we get I go up there, I run 867, and I'm thinking that's pretty good. At 867, I'm in a pretty good place. But then he starts counting from number one. Number one is like 661, and he's going down and he's counting. He gets to about number 14, and he's in the eights already. It's like 840, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be in the top 16. And so I think number 16 last year was 863, and then it was an 865, and I was 867. So I was the second fastest car in the second group.
Right. So that's a good place to be.
It's a great place to be. If more so if you're not a drag and drive guy and you've done some bracket racing and you're not a goof like me, like that's like so. The other thing that what happens is the second group has a cap, so they take the fastest guy in the class and they knock a tenth off it. And so if you're in the B group, you can't go any faster than that. And I was pretty convinced my car would go faster than 850 if I got the package together right. So I started going rounds. I think I was down to the final four. I'm making my pass. The other guy treed me. I passed him. I kept going. I'm thinking, man, I don't know if I'm going to break out or not. And I think it was a combination between that and the 1,000-foot mark. I thought was the finish line, and I let off and pulled my chute, and he beat me by like 0.02. Otherwise, I would have been in the final with my buddy Tony. But I learned a lot. I beat myself up all the way home after that. I've went up here and done a little bit of bracket racing. That will not happen again, but I would be so stoked to go down there and win. If I was in the second grouping, I don't know what the payout is, but even just the drive down there.
Is that the stick shift pro class right up underneath it? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. I'm not sure what they actually call the second group, but the first one's outlaw, and then I'm not. Yeah, the second one's probably pro, and then the third one's
pro, and then you got your street. Yeah, pro pays out $3,500.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would take it. Don't get me wrong.
I was getting ready to say you're not going to turn it down.
And street's 2,000.
Yeah, it's great. It's great payouts. Like honestly, small tire gangsters, the payouts that Jimmy Dale had at Yellow Belly were higher than anything up here. Like it was insane how much sponsorship and stuff he got. But $3,500 at Nate's event, and just to win an event like that, drive down there, win it, and drive home. Honestly, Sick Week was the same. Like I was completely humbled that I drove down there and took 2 orange helmets and drove back. I was very, very happy with the performance there. But this is a bit of a different, like a heads up race is much different than a drag and drive event where you're just hunting time slips. So it's part of the reason that I wanted to do them. It's just another different challenge with the car and see how good I can cut a light and how fast I can make the car go. And so,
I love it.
I would be stoked if I could do it.
Oh my goodness, I imagine so. I mean, it's impressive, but not only that, being what'd you say, 3,800 pounds? Is that how much you weigh now?
No, I'm like 4,050 pounds.
Oh, that was 4,050. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rovic's somewhere around 37, 38 or something. But yeah, I'm over 4,000 pounds.
That's the number. That's the number. Because you threw me off because when you said you went up for heavyweight, you come back after the first run and throw some spare tires in the back for heavyweight, and I'm like going, I thought heavyweight was 4,000 only, 4,000 above. Oh, that's why. I thought it was 4,000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now I see why you did what you did. But still, driving many hours just to run an event in North Carolina, to run drive your stick car, and then to run that quick, and then turn around and go back. And like you said, you got down to 4 cars. That's impressive. And something else, I don't think people realize, stock wiper blades on a 65 GTO at 170 mile an hour plus do not stay on the windshield. They don't. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, because the first time I saw that, because I just caught it out of the corner of my eye, and I thought something moved, but either they stood straight up, and another time they came off the window kind of nice and even, and I'm like, you might need to tape those down a couple times, but you
That's
probably
when
use
I
it
know
like
I
a
got a good
speedometer.
pass.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
that's when the speedometer's like, all right, they're standing straight out. We're cooking now. So that's probably the case with it. But how many Drag and Drives event, if everything works out, are you planning on doing this year on your schedule?
Well, if we just talk about events, so Sick Week's done. The next one is Streetcar Bragging Rights.
Right.
After Streetcar Bragging Rights is North versus South. So it's just a one-day event that Sean and Justin are putting on. And then Big Sky Race Week, which is in Montana, is the next Drag and Drive event. And then one of my favorite events too is Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0 in October.
Right.
I don't know if there's any more mixed in there because got to work and pay some bills, but
Yeah.
it should be another like close to 25,000 mile a year, I would think, because by the time I get back from Streetcar Bragging Rights, I should have 12 to 13,000 miles on the car already by the end of April. So
Now
it's going to get some miles on it.
That's something Mitchell and I were talking about, okay? And everybody that's followed you has seen the wild pictures of you driving through Montana, driving home, and other things, going through snowstorms and stuff like that. Now, what is it that you have to do, okay, because living where you live, to help your car in that cold air? Okay, because, I mean, I think I saw a picture where you pulled out an air filter and it was frozen over. Okay, I think I saw that correctly. I'm going off memory, and I've slept very little, So but I mean, and it's like going. So, what is some of the unique things that you have to do to drive your car in those cold conditions that most people, including us down here in Florida, wouldn't think of?
Yeah, like that was the first time I had an air cleaner freeze over because I would be like try to give it gas and try to load it up a little bit more, and the thing would fall on its face, and I'd be like, what is going on here? And that's when I figured out that, if you try to shut the air off, it doesn't work very good. But there's a couple of things that I do. I've got this repellent that I try to soak the underneath of the car with. And it's actually, I think it's for trucks and they use it for mud, but I use it on the bottom of the car just to try to help prevent any, the rust and stuff. But the reality is like, it takes a bit of a beating, and then snow tires all the way around, mud flaps all the way around. And you would be surprised when you load your car up and it weighs 5,000 pounds and the trailer's 2,000 pounds. Like it actually does really good, even with a spool. I mean, you got to know how to drive it, but it handles amazingly well with that much weight in it and good winter tires. So, like I've driven through some shit like where it's a complete whiteout and I'm using the rumble strips to stay on the road. And it just kind of trucks along. I went through a storm in Wyoming and there's people in the ditch and I'm passing people and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are doing. But clearly,
you're not doing it right.
Yeah. As Canadians and like true winter tires, like soft winter tires, you can't be afraid of wearing your tires out. But they just work really good. So, and then typically if it's going to be really cold, I'll throw in a 180-degree thermostat. But even with I had a 160-degree thermostat in this trip, and even that was good enough. It's still got a factory heater core, still got all the heat. It's sealed up pretty good. So we're not freezing inside the car. It's nice and warm. And so we don't really have to do a whole lot to the car other than winter tires and mud flaps is kind of the running joke. But
I didn't expect the mud flaps, but it makes sense. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing missing is air conditioning on your car. I guess that's about the only thing.
Cruise control. My buddy Chris Wozniak was fixing up a GTO, and he's got cruise control. He's got a module, and I'm going to hook that up. So I'll have cruise control because right now all I do is try to like get my left foot on the gas pedal and give my right foot a bit of a break. So cruise control would be a nice upgrade.
Could wedge that piece of wood under the gas pedal, and
That's
have
what
it where
Rovic does. Yeah. He's got a stick
really?
with him that he uses for his hood prop. He also uses it for his gas pedal, he tells me. But
That's not sketch
Whatever
at
works,
all.
right?
That's not sketch
Yeah.
at all. It's got a notch on it for the speeds. You know what I mean? You just push it down here to this click, and it'll be at 70 or 7 or 80 or whatever it might be. So it's like crazy. Well, tell everybody, how can everybody follow you? What's your social media site, and how can everybody get a hold of you?
Yeah, let me tell you one more story first, because I can't
Please,
go
please.
a podcast without talking about Bill Armstrong. So
No,
the
please
very
go
first
on.
drag and drive event, I met this dude named Bill Armstrong. He's got a Fairlane. It's a stick car. He shows up totally unprepared to drag week. Like, he's got a little baby jack. He doesn't have hardly any tools. He trailered to the event the first time, and we had been talking TKOs because he's got a TKO 600 and I got one of mine. And I think it's day 2, and he comes over and he's literally like hat in hand going like, I think I broke my transmission. And I'm like, well, tell me what's going on. And he tells me, and I'm like, well, it doesn't sound like your transmission broke. I said, it sounds like you've like welded a disc to your flywheel or something. So we go over there and I'm like, well, let's check your throat bearing first just to make sure, because you can't get the clutch to slip.
Right.
And so I bring my jack over because he's just got a little one, and he's lying on the ground and he's getting me to and he's lining the jack up, and he's like, okay, go ahead. And so I start jacking, and he looks up at me and he goes, man, this thing's got a strong oil pan. And I don't know Bill from anywhere. And I'm thinking,
no.
Oh, what did I get myself into with this clown? And so I'm jacking slow. Hey, I'm like just jacking it. And he looks up and he's going, I'm just kidding, man. And I knew right then that we were going to be the best of friends. So sure as heck, we're in the pits, and I think it was at Indy, and we're trying to like drop the clutch and break the thing free. So we're like bunny hopping the thing around the track, and we can't get it free. And it's hot. Like, it's first drag week, like I was saying. So we call a place, transmission place, tell them that, what's going on and that we might need some tools. And they're like, well, you can't use our shop, but you could use our parking lot. And it's like 100 degrees out. Well, we get there and there's a car wash right beside it. I go in, talk to the car wash guy. I'm like, here's what's going on. Can we borrow one of the car wash bays? We got to pull this transmission and have a look. And the young kid's like, oh, my dad's done drag week, but it was actually hot rod power tour.
Gotcha.
And so he was really good. Like, we threw a tarp down and we're in there working. And sure enough, I got to pry the disc off of the flywheel, take the flywheel into the clutch, into the transmission, and literally, just use a little buffer pad to clean it off. Bill goes and get one. Anyways, we changed it, and so I do a Clutch Burners podcast with Bill, but that's how we met. Was the very first event in literally changing his car in a transmission in a car wash. Oh yeah.
Well,
like, and now
you were in the shade, and if you wanted to cool off, you could take a shower right there.
That's it.
So
yeah,
that's a win-win right there. I don't care. And what's his podcast again? You said Clutch Burner?
Yeah, we do a podcast together called Clutch Burners. So we've had pretty much all the fast stick guys on there. We've had Mike Finnegan and Garrett Mitchell and Grubworm and pretty much all the fast clutch guys, stick guys on there. So
who's the fellow with the S10? With the Ellison?
Nick Coleman.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had him on there too. And it's funny because a bunch of us have seen Nick on the 1320 video and stuff. And Nick is usually thrashing but that dude is super smart and super technical. And he was a great guest. Like, he told us all kinds of stuff that I hadn't thought of. And he'll be at Streetcar Bragging Rights too. I know he blew his motor up at Texas 2K. Like, there's pieces missing. pieces missing between two of the cylinders. I think he's trying to get another short block. Actually,
Was it? Wait a minute. Did that happen? Did that happen today?
I think it happened yesterday in testing, because I don't think they've actually even made a pass yet today. But yeah, I think it was yesterday in testing.
Oh wow!
So there's some pictures on the internet. He posted some pictures of it, and it's not pretty. But Nick does not give up easy
out there.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I think you're right, because 1320 video would be from yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, and he made a half pass or something like that. So yeah, okay. So that must have been it. I didn't see any follow ups of that, but yeah, I tell you, it would be cool to have like a round table with him and with Grubworm and with the fellow with the Corvette out in Nebraska, yourself, and all that, to talk about not only stick shift racing, but where this class is going, because it started out more of your kind of car, and look where it's at now. I mean, if you want to say Garrett's got a funny car, you could say that if you want, but no, I mean, still radials, small radial, turbo, not clutchless per se, with the transmissions, but it's stuff like that. And I'm like, and amazingly quick. But I'm wondering where that class is going to go, where it's going to continue to progress to.
Right.
I got no idea.
Yeah, the ProCharger Corvette, I'm really curious to see if he can get that thing down the track. Like,
yeah, because
what a beautiful car.
He did one test yesterday, and he didn't get it 80 foot off, and it broke the tires loose. But that one's crazy. They were coming up like going, "What is this thing?" He goes, "Well, it's a 490-inch small block, with a ProCharger and a Tick performance transmission on I guess a 275. I don't know exactly what tires on it." But he was sitting there talking to him at night, and he had blue lights inside the cab, inside the car. And I'm like, that thing looks crazy, just like this. And I'm like going, oh my goodness. But those zoomies, oh my word, zoomies with a ProCharger is the worst thing. I mean, most deafening thing. Mitchell and I were next to some ProCharge dragsters that had zoomies at Gainesville, and we're still numb on one side from that. I mean,
ears are still ringing.
It's like crazy. But
I can't imagine when he puts it on the two-step, what kind of noise that thing is going to make.
Man.
Like,
no, it's just crazy. And those guys leave higher too than most of the top dragsters and stuff that we're around down here. So it's got to be nuts. But okay, now tell us once again, okay, the podcast you're involved with, and tell us how people can follow you on social media.
Yeah, so Bill and I started Clutch Burners. I don't know what we're at now, 45 or something episodes. So yeah, you can find that on all of the same podcast, different platforms. My YouTube channel is Canadian Chuck Norris 69. I was born in 69. My daughter informed me there's some other, I don't know, something else about 69. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Gotcha. Firebird, Pontiac Firebird. And
yeah. And then it's just Richard Guido on Facebook and Guido Richard on Instagram. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And usually if I'm at an event, I'll usually have shirts there. I don't really sell them online or any of that kind of stuff, because I don't know that I have time for that yet. But there's lots of good YouTube subs, especially the last few journeys, and trying to get better at doing daily videos when we're on those trips and stuff. It's great to have a YouTuber along with you that can help you. But
is that the fellow that was riding in the back seat? Is that the one that was doing all the documenting?
His channel is called Heathen's Garage. But yeah, he did a great job. He was great to have along. He's a great troubleshooter, and he's also a mechanic. So he was great to have in the back seat. I don't know that he loved it in the back seat, but
he better be nimble. He better be nimble, because I don't know who took videos. It must have been you taking videos of watching him get out at a gas station, and he went under the bar versus over the bar. And I'm like going, man, I'd be like a lawn dart going over the bar. I would, I wouldn't try to go under, but I was like, he's flexible, so he could do it.
He must be young, because I would get stuck either way, over or under. I'll be like, hey, can someone please help me over here?
Help me over here. No, Mitchell, like each other, man. We'd first take a picture of each other laughing, and then we'd help out. So you just got to do what you got to do. So I tell you what, Rich, I appreciate it, and there's so much more I want to learn about your Pontiac. I really, really do. And you've taught us so much. Now, here's another question: your fuel injection? Who do you use as far as your computer?
Yeah, so I know you got big stuff in the background there, but it's actually a Mega Squirt.
Really?
And
okay.
it's it's an MS3 Pro Evo. It's actually the first system that I have ever used, and so you really have to understand it well and stuff. But it works great. Like I think that ECU has got over 100,000 miles on it. It does traction control. It does all my boost control. It does all my data logging. So, and then I've got fuel injector development injectors in it. Just one set of injector per cylinder. But yeah, that ECU works great. And I think I've talked a little bit about the G-Force transmission that's in the car. Like that G-Force has been fantastic as far as being able to get you parts right away. And as you can imagine, if you break something at one of these events, you sure either better have something with you. I do carry a spare transmission with me, but G-Force has been fantastic as far as having parts available and durable especially for what I do to them. So yeah,
if you don't mind me asking, what size fuel injector do you use?
It's a 1200 cc.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So I run C16. I run C16 and pump gas, so it's not methanol, so it doesn't have to be a great big fuel injector. And I stayed that way for a reason. Like, I mean, it would be great to get rid of 100 pounds, but C16 and intercooled is a really safe combo. Like, you can screw up on C16 and not blow your shit up that 3,000 miles from home. So,
right. I got you.
And, I think the other piece is, like, I had carbon from the combustion chamber go back into an injector at testing at Sick Week, which I had never had before, but I can only imagine.
Is that why it's stuck open? Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, and my injector guy, we called him up, and he's like, "There's nothing wrong with the injector." He's like, "You probably got carbon from the combustion chamber backwards," and I'm like, "I thought that was an Audi, not an innie. Like, what stuff shouldn't be going in there."
Yeah, tell me how this happened.
But sure enough, like, I have an onboard air compressor and stuff, and so we flushed that thing back and forth, and eventually we got this tiny little chunk of carbon out of it, and then the thing's been working great ever since. So I did get some injectors sent to me, though, so I have some spare ones, so we don't have to clean that one.
But it was still amazing to watch you. I mean, when you got it back to the pit. And like, oh, well, let's see. You pull the plugs out, and it's like, oh, it's a little wet. Let me turn it over, and it just sprayed. And you're like, going, well, now I got to see if, because at first you're like, going, well, I wonder if I hydrolock. You're like just talking it through, and then after you blew it out, and of course fuel went everywhere, and you were like, going, well, now I wonder if I bent something. And, then you're like, you looked at a couple things, got it back together. Well, I'm going to send it and just see what happens. And I'm like going, well, okay. So, I mean, clearly you checked out some stuff, but that's crazy. The fact that you went through the finish line, cut it off and it filled up and it didn't hurt anything.
Yeah. One injector stayed open. And, when I let off the gas and that's when it went 837. That was the first pass after driving 3,000 miles. And typically my MO is I'll use the Seafoam, and then the first pass will be kind of like throw 10 pounds of boost at it or something. And I thought, I'm going to just try to run 850s and see what happens. So I don't know if that's part of the reason that it cleaned out as much carbon as it did on the first pass, but
good commercial right there. Seafoam works. It works. You know what I mean? You just send them that video and hold up, have a piece of carbon or whatever like that, in your hand, like it wasn't this big, but if this is actual size, is that kind of thing. How much boost do you typically run on your car?
So I used to only run like 15 pounds before it was. We probably should talk about this too. When it was in the traditional fashion of a head gasket and water flowing through the deck surface, because at like 17 pounds, I was struggling to keep head gaskets in it. It would start pushing water, and you'd take it apart and you'd look and you'd barely see anything on the head gasket, but it was enough that you'd start pressurizing the coolant up. So
Right.
I dry decked it, and so now the block is all actually plugged,
Right.
and the head is plugged. I run an O-ring in the block. It's a 41 thou O-ring. It protrudes about 15 thou, and then I run an MLS steel gasket on top of that, and I still run a traditional water pump. It goes in through the block. It comes out 2 lines out of the aftermarket block into the heads, through the heads, out through the thermostat, and so now I'm running like 20 to 22 pounds of boost. And of course, you don't have to worry about coolant then because it can't push coolant. But
True.
It's been good. Yeah, I've had 0 issues. It runs nice and cool, and you don't have to risk, putting water under your tires because you blew a head gasket. So it's been working fantastic for me.
That's a good point. I like that. And first thing I was thinking when you talked about external water lines, I was thinking to the back of the cylinder heads, but not necessarily. You probably do it to the front of the heads, don't you?
No, it actually comes out of the back of the block, and then they cross over, and then where on a Pontiac, it doesn't matter which way you put the heads on. They have a connection right at the back where the water crossover would be,
Right.
and so they just tap right into those.
Okay. Right up
Yeah.
on the top on the intake side. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. I like
Yeah.
it. It's simple. It works. I say simple, like you said. 10 pounds in a 5-pound sack, but you're making it work.
Have you ever thought, running the turbo on your car? Have you thought about putting nitrous on there and spraying the intercooler?
I haven't yet. Like I'm finally at the limit of my turbo. And so, like I said, it's been on there 7 years. So when on the way to streetcar bragging rights, I might stop and see Reed at Work Turbocharger and see if we can go from a 94 to a 98. But that air to water works so good. Like at the top of a pass where I'm doing 174 miles an hour, the air inlet temperature is less than 100 degrees. So the air to water works great. Like I turn it on. I turn the water pump on after I do the burnout, and by the time I'm going through the traps, it's still less than 100 degrees. So, especially with C16, it's still plenty safe. So I don't know that I need nitrous at this point, and I definitely don't need any more weight. But
Right.
Well, yeah, you wait till you get. Yeah, you just want your 7. You don't need a 98 millimeter, especially if you get your 7. Okay, you just no funny car cage. You got to call it. Just build you a '69 Pontiac. You know what I mean, with a 750 cage in it, and just have one as your Sunday driver and one as your other driver, and or whatever. I'm just messing with you. I don't know.
Yeah, a little 63 Tempest would be nice. Like 62 or 63 Tempest, they're nice and light and smaller, and I think that would be my if I was going to build a faster stick car, I think that's what I would do. But stick car for life for me.
Nothing wrong with that. Totally agree with that. You just set the hoop back so you can get out in front of it and in front of the bar. You know what I mean? Just that's it, and go from there. So yeah, that would be unique too. Looking at a 62, 63? Yeah, they're unique. They're unique, especially the back of them, the taillights and all that. So I definitely like that. But I tell you, we've got to catch you at another event. Mitchell and I, we've got to catch you. If not an event this year, we're definitely going to catch you at Sick Week and come up to you and talk to you and do a little quick interview with you And if your father's shotgunning with you, talk to him also.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. This has been fun.
Well, I tell you what, if I can build up enough PTO hours, I would like to participate in Sick Week.
Yeah.
It's a great event. I mean, I don't know what Mother Nature's doing to us the last 2 years, but I was wearing long johns the first 3 days in Florida, and there's something wrong with that. So I am not going all the way to Florida to wear long johns. Like what? People
were going crazy when they're like, there's flurries. There's flurries. What is this?
It's 18 degrees at the track.
Like, it happens.
And they're like going, don't worry, just wait a day or two. We'll be sunburnt. With shorts. But it was so funny. And then, like when you popped off your time, and then Finnegan goes down there and runs 8:20 something, I think, and way under. And there was people that just going way quicker than their personal best. I'm like, welcome to mine shaft weather, ladies and gentlemen. And
I was really surprised how well the track was holding, as cold as it was.
I didn't have any traction problems the whole event. The only time I had a traction problem was my clutch switch was set wrong, and it released the two-step before the clutch was fully engaged. It knocked the tires off once, but other than that, I didn't have any. And it was minus 1,500 feet. Like it was crazy how good the air was and how cold it was. But it was. It was wild.
And all I could think about is like, there better be nobody overheating on the street tonight. There better be nobody, this situation right here is pristine. It's not like Death Week or something like that. So, you definitely got to do that. But Rich, once again, we want to thank you very much for coming on tonight and sharing a little bit about your story and talking about, your adventures and sharing your adventures with us. And we got to talk to Rubik. We got to talk to him. And we got to get him. We got to talk to him a little more, possibly even get him to come on here. I think he's an airline pilot, isn't he? He's an airline pilot, isn't he?
Yeah. They've got an airplane, and he's got a business. And so he tells me all the time there's people jumping out of his airplane. I'm not sure why, but he'd be a good guest for you guys to have on. So I appreciate it, Robert and Mitchell. Thanks for inviting me on here, and it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, Rich. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rich Guido, better known as a Canadian Chuck Norris. We encourage everybody to follow his podcast, Clutch Burner. Okay, that's Clutch Burner, right? Okay, we encourage everybody to follow his podcast, Clutch Burner, and also to follow him on all the social media sites, YouTube channel, subscribe to it, also his Facebook and Instagram. Follow him along as he goes with his adventures between he and his family and his Pontiac.
Yeah, in 26 days, if you're around Rockingham, Dragway, go out there, and you can meet him face to face.
Oh, yeah.
Buy a shirt, pay for some gas.
Absolutely. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Buy some merch. Go up, talk to the man, shake his hand. He's nice.
Yeah.
He's
come sit in the car. Yeah.
Well, next time you offer that to me, you told me to clutch mess with the clutch, but I didn't hop in the car. But maybe next time. So we'll do that. But all right, Rich, buddy, we appreciate it, my friend, and we hope you and your family have nothing but the best.
Thank you. It's been great.
All right. Take care, Rich.
Take care.
See you, buddy.
Tell you what, we're going to take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back after these messages to shut the show down.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at bigstuff3efi.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
I tell you, Robert, what a great show tonight. You know, diving in a little bit in the sick week and hearing the fun stories Rich had to share with us, you know, the challenges that you have to face on the road, especially driving all the way from Canada to Florida, and then participating in sick week, going to all those tracks, driving in between and driving your car home. Just totally amazing. Just goes to show the dedication that he has for drag and drive. And all the maintenance that he does to his vehicle to keep it going. I mean, it's not easy to run sick week, but it definitely cannot be easy to drive that many miles to be able to participate. And he's fixing to do it again to run down there to Rockingham in 26 days.
I know it. I find it absolutely amazing. A lot of people, including myself, you know, I want to drive my car, but I'm reluctant to drive my car where I live because how congested it is with traffic and all that stuff like that. But I want to drive my car more. And he's just like going, no, I'm going to drive it, whatever. I didn't even ask him. It's like going, hey, when you go to a hotel, you know, where do you park it? You got a trailer on it? You know, how do you secure everything up? And, you know, Mitchell, where you and I live, you know, we really secure stuff up as best we can, right. You know, and so there's things like that. And I was like going, man, I find it amazing. And I love the fact that he's like going, I'm going to drive my car. I'm going to drive it. And it's like going, you know, I'm going to wear it out. I put the effort in it and, you know, enjoy it. And it goes to show he's made a progression over the years. He's did most everything himself. Like you said, growing up on the farm, you have a necessity to fix things that you need to fix yourself and go from there. And it's impressive. I mean, a 4,000-pound car on a 9-inch tire with a stick in it, true Pontiac with a turbocharger, and to run low eights at over 170 miles an hour. And that is after driving 80 miles an hour for 3,000, 3,500 plus miles. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's a beautiful car too. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take that thing to any car show and possibly walk away with an award.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The car doesn't give justice. I mean, he says, you know, hey, it's a little rough here and there from, you know, wear and tear and stuff like that, but the car is really pretty. It is black, and when he has a chance to clean it up and all that stuff like that, get the little bit of road grime off of it, it really stands out. But I mean, the thing about it is, it's a true Pontiac GTO, a '65 Pontiac GTO.
Right.
You know, black with red interior, and I mean, it's true, and it's a true Pontiac, and it's a true stick car, and it really pegs the cool meter so many different ways. But the fact that he's got 200,000 miles on the car since completing it less than 20 years ago, or right at 20 years ago, that's just crazy. I don't care who you are. You know, everything in my driveway has got over 100,000 miles on it, including my Nova, but not 200,000.
Yeah, I was going to ask him about another race that's coming up in Ohio, and it's a Pontiac event. I was going to ask him if he had plans going to that. It's a pretty good size event, and but hey, you never know. It's a little closer than Rockingham.
It's at Indy, isn't it? Is it at Indy?
No, it's in Ohio.
Oh, Norwalk. Norwalk. You said Norwalk.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry. I'm
Norwalk.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw somebody this weekend in the tower, and they're a huge Pontiac buff. And they were telling me it's some event, and they put on some of it, and they do this and that, and I think it's that one. And I left you a message over on the side, so got a question for you, so you might want to answer that when you get a chance. But I tell you, this was a great podcast. We've really enjoyed it. We appreciate Rich taking time out of his crazy busy schedule. He's 2 hours back from us on his time, so he just got off work a couple minutes early and come in here and talk to us. We do want to talk to Rubik also. I got to get Rubik. I don't know if you're still on here or not. If not, I'll go through Rich and get your contact and to be able to reach out to you and talk to you about these things, about working out the schedule to come on. But I tell you, also, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank everybody who has come on here tonight and is supporting On the Spot Motorsports Media. The companies that work with us work with you. Redline Synthetic, okay, Scorpion Racing Products, Big Stuff, EFI Fuel Injection, and GRE. GRE is one of the local companies that come on, Goolsby Racing Enterprise, to be able to take care of all your graphic needs, your hats, your T-shirts, your business cards, whatever it might be. They can handle what you need. Plus, they are racers, and any event at Gainesville, you will definitely see them. They're up there doing the T-shirts and the hats, and they were out there at the Baby Gators and at the Gators and other events. Anything hosted at Gainesville, they're taking care of it. But also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell everybody thank you for your support. We have reached a new personal milestone for us. We now have over 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And this interview will be uploaded on YouTube probably by tomorrow. With the analytics between the two, it takes about a day for it to upload in its entirety. I mean, you can be able to go see it, but nevertheless. But this video will be uploaded onto Spotify. We'll also get it uploaded on other platforms as we're going along. But I want to thank you for that. But also, if you haven't subscribed and followed us yet, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We're now working that platform and getting it to grow. But also continue to follow us on YouTube. Like and share and hit that bell, that like button and all that stuff, so every time we put out a video. Now, Mitchell and I, whenever we're going to events, we're trying to do not only take pictures and share information with you, but we're trying to do interviews as much with racers, with manufacturers, with different things like that. It's like recently at the Baby Gators, we were able to do some interviews with some sportsman racers, and your response has been very, very well. And we still have a couple other interviews to put up. But as we're planning on going to other events, we're going to the Lucas Oil race in South Georgia. Mitchell's going to be able to go to that one. He's going to be able to get a couple interviews from there. I'm going to go to a couple other events myself. And as we can, we're going to get interviews with just interesting racers and people from all over. And also, once again, if you have somebody that you recommend that you would like us to talk to, please send us the contact information and for us to reach out to them. And we will. We'll see if I can get them on the schedule. Mitchell and I, we have a lot of irons in the fire. We really, really do. So we're trying our best to bring interesting conversations and cool people and cool products and races. And like he said, we just don't have enough PTOs, do we, Mitchell?
No, but I'm trying to get there as much as possible.
Yeah,
it's hard work, and of course, you got to fit in family every once in a while. And
no, a lot.
I'm going to be really not really close, but I'm going to be 2.5 hours away from Benson, and kind of makes me want to just drive on up there and catch the IHRA race this weekend. Don't know if that's going to happen or not, but maybe it will. It'll be nice to stop by and see Lex June and a couple of other people that's going to be bouncing back and forth running NHRA and IHRA this year. But first, talking about about Lex June, we've met a really nice lady. Her name is Crystal Thomas, and she brought us some of this hearing protection by Auditory Defense.
Yes.
It's really great. You're able to charge them. Not only can you use them for hearing protection, but you can Bluetooth them to your phone and you can listen to music, or you can listen to what's going on YouTube without disturbing somebody. But yeah, a really great product, and we're actually going to put the link on our Facebook page.
Yes.
Take some pictures of the items, and I tell you, they work really well. They also not only have these, but they also have the traditional mini earmuffs and stuff like that as well.
Now,
So,
Mitchell's absolutely right. Now, the great thing about it is we had the opportunity. We got him at the Gator Nationals. We had the opportunity to test him for 2 races in a row. So what we're telling you is exactly what we experienced. Okay, they work excellent. They work like typical earplugs, like you would insert. Just that part makes sense. And they do excellent for everything, excluding fuel cars. Fuel cars, you still need to have hearing protection above that when you're on the
huh?
start. Exactly, when you're on the starting line or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's about the only limitation. But standard plugs, there is a limitation too. But the great benefit, like Mitchell said, is you can Bluetooth, and they Bluetooth very, very easy.
$24.99.
Yes. And when we took them out of the package, they still had a charge on them. So I was able to, boom, fire it up. It synced up to my phone quick and used them. I mean, I used them right out of the package. And then I used them through the day. And then as I got up and had a chance to slow down, I charged them for, just to make sure. And they worked very well. They were very clear, very easy. Now, they got 3 buttons on them, volume up and down. In the center is the on-off button. So me being me, I got to, make sure and feel where it's at. Okay, you can't exactly see it unless you take it off your head. But with it on your head, that's the only thing you have to feel for. Second button, hold, and then it audio tells you powered on, powered off, etc. like that. And once I fully charged it, I listened to music for 2.5 hours.
Oh,
No
I was
problem.
listening to music while I was out there taking pictures.
Exactly. But I'm talking about, no, I mean, after I was talking with people and stuff like that, then I would just, boom, I'd turn on the music. But Mitchell, I let them ride for 2.5 hours, and they weren't dead. And I was listening to music straight. So that gives you an idea. Now, this company is really good. Not only do they work with Lex June, they work with other racers, but it is racers for racers. The nice lady that created this business is a hearing doctor, but her kids race. So she's at the track all the time. So she saw the obvious problem that we all have being around our hobby. But she not only has created a different audio defense for not only crews, but racers, but fans, also for kids.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
way up to infants, babies to toddlers.
Right. So we encourage everybody to go over to auditory events, and the link will be at the bottom of this show, or actually it's going to be on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be able to go over there. So we encourage everybody to go over there and take a look. And for this price, it is very, very reasonable. Okay, and so they just wanted us to say, hey, here, we want you to try this, see what you think. You know what I mean? This is kind of the introductory thing, and go from there. We're like, well, yeah, we'll give it a fair shake, and so boom, we immediately put them on. I'm like,
Yeah, and their
okay,
defender earmuffs are really cool. So it cancels out a lot of noise, but you can actually hear someone talking.
right.
So you can hear around you, but it cuts out the real loud noises to
Right.
protect your hearing, which
Now,
is
now
really
the
cool. And they're not bad either, Robert. They're a good price.
yeah, now
Uh,
when I did look at them, the prices were not unreasonable.
oh no, not at all.
Now,
They're 59, I think $59.
is that
I
what it
mean,
was? Okay, thought it was something like that. But I tell you, the really good
59.99. I just wanted to double check.
that's fair. The really good thing that about these particular Bluetooth earbuds is that I wear big hats in summertime or shiny areas or something like that. I wear big hats, and of course, you can't wear earmuffs like this with big hats. So these, like typical earplugs, which they are, boom, and you go and put them in and go, and handles everything that you need. Now, if it was nighttime or dusk or something like that, then I can use a different style. But that's just me. That's my deal. Mitchell typically wears a ball cap, so he could wear about anything. So I tell you, we encourage everybody to go over, give them a try.
Yeah.
They're really good. Now, we have some other people lined up, and some other people we talked to about some wonderful products that we'll be sharing here in the near future. But I believe we got Ryan next week, do we not, Mitchell?
Ryan Yaler.
Yep. Got Pro Stock
And
Motorcycle
I think
Racing.
Braden Davis might be joining him as well. So,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
And we
2
gave
for 1 on Pro Stock Motorcycle.
On the Spot Motorsport Media gave Braden Davis the 2025 Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he was our pick.
He was our pick. Okay. Because we believe under this his limited schedule and everything that was going on, that he came out like a ball of fire, and he proved himself very, very much with multi-final round finishes, multi number one qualifiers, and doing very well and finishing top 5 in the Pro Stock ranks. So we felt it right. We gave it to him, and he's not only that, he and his family are wonderful people.
And his marketing partners as well with Powertrain. Just super great people.
Really, really good people. And but like I said, just you can't find a more humble, down-to-earth person than him, and Ryan for that matter. Because when we walked up, we were talking to both of them, and Ryan was working on his bike, and then he's like going, and he would talk to us, he's like, "Oh, excuse me," and he goes over and pulls the motor out of his bike. It's like he was just real calm about it. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, I'm going to make a change," and here I'm thinking he's going to adjust the clutch, and like, "Nah, pull the motor out." And so, they had a good showing too. So we look forward to talking to them next week, and we got other people beyond that. But now, whenever Rich was mentioning people running drag and drive and running 850, okay, in April we have Randy Seward coming on. Now, anybody that follows the drag and drive community would know of Randy Seward. Randy Seward is the Chuck Norris equivalent, but he actually lives here in Florida. He did it before it was even popular. He's got a light metallic green, Mitchell, I think that's the color, light metallic green, notchback Mustang. Very unassuming, very, very unassuming, but will print 850s like it's nobody's business. And he's won like 3 out of 4 sick weeks in a row. He's won all kinds of drag and drives. And he is a man that literally on his own drove all over the country just to race at a track on his bucket list by himself, and then would drive to another track and then do the. I mean, we're going to find out more about him, but this is another a diehard drag and drive racer, and that's coming in April. And we got some other people lined up in between. And but just wanted to share that with anybody that's watching this.
We're trying to work out where we can get Eric and Matt Latino on. We talked to them a little bit at the Gator Nationals, done a small interview. But we kind of want to dig in a little deeper, and the only way to do that is to invite them on the podcast where we got more time. Like Robert said, the sky's the limit in drag racing. There's so many different classes, not just the pro classes, but the sportsman classes. We also have one of the Factory Stock Showdown guys that will be coming on here, Raymond Nash. So we're looking for that. Maybe even have Miles around. Miles is kind of like their mascot.
You gotta love Miles. I can that dog is so cool. Underdog Racing, And I tell you what, now something else we have scheduled, and anybody in the super stock Hemi shootout world might like this, but we got Charlie Westcott Jr. coming on at the beginning of next month, and we'd like to talk to him and learn more about him. And I can't remember if he is at Galat this weekend or not. No, I don't think he's at Galat, but I think he's going to the shootout down in Louisiana next week.
Going to the Cajun Nationals?
Yeah, the shootout they're having for the Hemi cars.
Yes.
Going to that. But anyway, it's hard keeping up sometimes. That's why I write it down old school. a calendar. That's me. But we have a lot of other people we've been talking to. We're trying to get the schedules worked out. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you've hung on this long to the podcast, we wanted to tell you thank you once again from Mitchell and I for everything. And we appreciate everybody with the encouragement. And I tell you also, and Mitchell knows this, I have a couple in-car videos from the Baby Gators that I just got to work the videos out from stock eliminator racers. And I think you would find it enjoying. I think you would find it really cool.
Do you see the sky a couple of times in these?
No. Very, very mild. The sky. Well, no, you do see the sky. Okay, but the starting line does not disappear. Okay, these are mild, but it's just in really cool cars that you just wouldn't expect.
Give you a good feeling what it's like to be inside of one of those stock eliminator cars.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to share.
And this is a start. We plan on doing this as the year progresses and as we can, is to put the cameras in other people's cars and other classes and other makes, so you just kind of get the feel of what it's like to race. And I've put one camera in Mitchell's car, and I'm going to put another one in it whenever he allows it. And I'll put another one in his car too, so you can.
Let me get back to cutting lights and not going red.
Right, that's how I feel too, but I don't want to talk about that so much. But anyway. But ladies and gentlemen, from everybody here at On the Spot Motorsports Media to you, I want to tell you thank you very much, and we wish that you all have a good night.
Yep. Everyone take care, and we will see you next Thursday.
Take care.